Good evening and welcome to Horror Time. This is episode 1 of Scary Stories to Fall Asleep to. Before we get into tonight's episode, remember to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. And now, without further ado, tonight's story. The Man in the Black Van by Nick Zodiac from Reddit/True Scary Stories. I was laying in my bed one night, unable to sleep when a memory resurfaced. It was one I'd occasionally think about or rarely retell, but tonight it struck me as particularly disturbing, maybe because it's the sort of thing you only completely appreciate the possible implications of once you're an adult. I'm not sure if this story belongs here, but it's true nonetheless. I'm around 13 years old, getting ready for school one morning. My dad is off at work and my mom is getting ready for hers, I think. Every day I'd walk to school, as it's only half a mile from home. I'm ready and head out the door saying goodbye. I walk down the hill of my yard and down the curved street in the direction of the school. Out of sight of my house, but not far. I reach where my neighborhood ends, where I would cross the street and towards the intersection of the school. Before I do, a dingy-looking black minivan, not sure how to describe it, pulls up in front of my path, poised in front of the road parallel to my neighborhood. A car I have never seen before in my neighborhood, nor since. I look at him. He's staring at me. It's a pasty Caucasian man who looks like he's in his 30s, at least. He has disheveled brown hair, but what struck me was his eyes. He had dark circles under them, and a very uncomfortable stare. His window is still up. He then motions me towards him with his hand. My heart begins to pound. Every part of me is saying that this is not a good man. So I just stand there, look at him, and shake my head no. A part of me had the feeling he was going to jump out, prepared to run, but he didn't. He didn't even respond to my gesture. He looked at me, unfazed, before briskly pulling out of the neighborhood into the road ahead, and he was gone. I don't remember what happened next. I think I ran home rather than towards the school, as I was very startled. I told my mom either that morning or later that day, and she told my dad, who's a policeman. He called me into the living room. He was on his work laptop and wanted me to describe the man and the car for him. I didn't have much useful info to give, as I was a dopey middle school boy who wasn't prepared to memorize plates or was knowledgeable of cars. Unsurprisingly, my dad never found out anything more about this man with such sparse details. The day came and went as just an odd thing that happened to me, and nobody had any reason to bring it up again. Every so often I would remember the time of this creepy man beckoning me towards him in his dingy black van, but only recently has the thought filled me with so much dread. It's possible that if I were to just have walked up to him, that I would never be seen or heard from again. Just another middle schooler who gets swallowed up by the world and disappears. No witnesses, just an unsolved mystery and a forever grieving family. I shudder to think what could have happened to me, as I know now what people are capable of. Death isn't nearly the worst thing. Or maybe it's all in my head. Maybe he just wanted some directions or to ask me something, even though his window was closed and he looked unwell, to say the least. But the worst part is I'll never know. Maybe it was just the overblown anxiety of a kid taking things out of proportion. All I know is that every part of him was screaming to me there's something wrong. Remembering how it felt looking into his eyes, I can't help but believe it. But what's worse, the idea that before or after it happened to me, he might have beckoned a kid who didn't shake his head no. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Horror Time. If you enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing for more videos. Have a great evening, stay safe, and good night.